Hello all, how are you been? I hope everything is great at your hand. Yeah. Today we are going to read a new story, The Clock Tower That Remembered Every Smile. So let's start. In the heart of a peaceful town stood an ancient clock tower that had watched over the people for more than 300 years. Its great bronze bell rang every hour, its golden clock hands never missed a minute, and its gentle chimes filled the streets with comfort. The townspeople simply called it the old clock tower, but the oldest residents knew another name, the clock tower that remembered every smile. According to an old legend, the tower possessed a magical heart hidden behind its enormous clock face. It did not count minutes or hours like ordinary clocks. Instead, it quietly collected every genuine smile, every kind word, and every act of compassion that happened in the town. No one had ever seen this magical heart. No one even knew if it truly exists. Everyone except an elderly clock caretaker named Mr. Eldon. Every morning before sunrise, he climbed the winding staircase carrying a small toolbox. He polished the brass gears, wound the great spring, and gently listened to the ticking mechanism. Visitors often asked him, "Why do you smile every time you repair the clock?" Mr. Alden always gave the same answer. The clock doesn't simply tell time, it reminds us that every moment matters. Among the visitors was a curious 12-year-old boy named Liam. Liam loved taking apart old watches and fixing broken toys. His dream was to become the town's next clockmaker. Every afternoon after school, he helped Mr. Eldon dust the workshop and organize tiny screws, springs, and gears. One rainy evening, Liam noticed an unusual key hanging from a wooden shelf. It was made of silver and shaped like a tiny clock hand. "What does this open?" he asked. Mr. Eldon looked at the key for a long moment. "It opens something that only appears once every 100 years." Liam's eyes widened. "When?" Mr. Eldon smiled. "Tomorrow night." Following evening, the entire town gathered in the square for the annual festival of lights. Children carried glowing lanterns, musicians filled the streets with gentle melodies, families laughed together beneath strings of golden lights. As midnight approached, Mr. Alden handed Liam the silver key. "The time has come." Together they climbed the spiral staircase to the very top of the tower. When the great clock struck 12, something extraordinary happened. The clock face slowly opened like two giant doors. Behind it was a hidden room filled with hundreds of tiny glowing lights floating through the air. Every light, each light shimmered like a golden firefly. "What are they?" Liam asked. Mr. Allen smiled. "Every light is a smile shared with kindness." Liam watched in amazement as one light drifted toward a crystal sphere in the center of the room. The sphere glowed brighter Each time another light joined it. The tower remembers every joyful moment, Mr. Alden explained. That light keeps hope alive in our town. Just then the crystal suddenly flickered. Several lights faded. The room became noticeably dimmer. Liam looked worried. What's happening? Mr. Alden's expression grew serious. The town has begun forgetting something important. Outside the festival continued, but many people seemed distracted. Some argued over small misunderstandings. Others hurried past lonely neighbors without saying hello. The glowing lights inside the tower continued growing weaker. If the crystal loses its light completely, Mr. Alden said softly, the tower will no longer remember the kindness and that has protected this town for generations. Liam stared at the fading glow. He knew there had to be a way to restore it. But how could one ordinary boy bring light back to an entire town? Took a deep breath. Tomorrow he would begin searching for the answer. The next morning, Liam woke before sunrise. As he walked through the quiet streets, he couldn't stop thinking about the fading lights inside the clock tower. If every act of kindness become a light, he whispered, then maybe the town doesn't need magic. Maybe it simply needs to remember how to care. He decided to begin with the smallest act he could think of. Outside the bakery, an elderly woman struggled to carry two heavy baskets. Liam hurried over. May I help you? The woman smiled warmly. Thank you, my boy. As he carried the baskets to her home, something remarkable happened. Far above, inside the hidden room of the clock tower, one tiny golden light appeared and floated gently into the crystal sphere. Its glow became just a light, little brighter. Liam didn't see it, but Mr. Eldon did. He smiled quietly. The tower remembers. Encouraged Liam spent the rest of the day helping wherever he could. He repaired a little girl's broken toy without asking for payment. He helped the gardener water flowers in the village square. He picked up litter near the riverbank with a group of children. He even apologized to a friend after a misunderstanding, choosing friendship over pride. With every kind deed, another golden light appeared inside the dark. By evening, the crystal shimmered more brightly than it had the day before. Still, it wasn't enough. Mr. Alden gently shook his head. One person's kindness can begin the change, he said, but a whole community must keep it alive. Liam thought carefully. That night, he placed a small wooden box in the town square. On its side, he painted five simple words: share one smile every day. Beside the box lay small pieces of paper. Anyone who performed or received an act of kindness could write it down and place it inside. At first, only a few people participated. A teacher wrote about helping a struggling student. A fisherman shared part of his catch with a family in need. A child wrote, I made my little brother laugh when he was sad. Day after day, the boy filled with hundreds of notes. Reading them inspired even more people to spread kindness. Neighbors greeted one another more often. Children visited lonely grandparents. Shopkeepers offered warm soup to travelers on cold evenings. The town slowly changed. People smiled more. They listened more. They hurried less. 1 month later, during another peaceful evening, Mr. Alden invited Liam back to the top of the clock tower. The hidden room opened once again. This time, thousands of golden lights floated gracefully through the air like tiny stars. The crystal at the center shone so brightly that the entire room glowed with warm golden light. It worked, Liam whispered. Mr. Alden nodded. It wasn't the star that saved the town, it was the people. Just then, the great bronze bell began ringing. Its sound was richer and more beautiful than anyone could remember. Down below, the townspeople stopped what they were doing. For a brief moment, everyone looked toward the old clock tower. Without knowing why, they all smiled. Years passed. Mr. Eldon eventually retired and placed the silver key into the lamb's hands. The tower has chosen its next keeper. Liam accepted the responsibility with gratitude. As the new clockmaker, he carefully repaired every gear, polished every bell, and wound the great clock every morning. But he also continued caring for something even more important. He encouraged kindness. Every year on the Festival of Lights, children gather in the square to read a few notes from the old wooden kindness box. Some stories were simple: someone helping a lost traveler, a stranger returning a forgotten wallet, friends planting trees together. Others were life changing. Families forgiving one another, neighbors rebuilding homes after storms. Every story reminded the town that even the smallest act of kindness mattered. One evening, a curious little girl climbed the tower with Liam. She noticed the silver key hanging around his neck. Does the tower really remember every smile? She asked. Liam smiled gently. It remembers the smile that comes from kindness. The little girl looked thoughtful. Can I help it remember? Liam knelt beside her. You already can. Every time you choose kindness, the world becomes a little brighter. That night, as the clock struck midnight, another tiny golden light floated into the crystal sphere. It sparkled brighter than ever before. The ancient clock tower continued standing proudly above the town, not merely counting hours, quietly reminding every generation that time is precious, that the moments spent bringing joy to others are the moments that shine forever. So that was a story that we read. Now the moral of the story: time is life's greatest gift. The moments we spend showing kindness, sharing smiles, and helping others become the memories that truly last. Single act of kindness may seem small, but together many small acts can brighten an entire community. So that was the story of the clock tower that remembered every smile. I hope you like it very much. I'll be waiting your comments, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment. on the channel regarding the more, if you want to get a more cheerful stuff. Thank you.